What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs baseball channel. We're going to talk about Kyle Tucker and this trade that the Cubs made to get him and how it could absolutely backfire, although he is going to be fun to watch this season. Cam Smith starting to look like the Astros' #1 prospect. Also, Shota Imanaga gets ready for the Dodgers in Japan and more right here on the Cubs baseball channel. We're closing in on 6,500 subscribers. Please like and subscribe, thumbs up. Let's get this thing started. Go Cubs. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs baseball channel. Great to see you this morning, and appreciate everybody for hanging out with us on a daily basis. We talk about the Cubs getting closer and closer to that showdown with the Dodgers in Japan, and we're going to talk about that coming up. See you guys in the comment section. Thank you, too. And obviously on the road, but that doesn't stop us from talking Cubs baseball. You know that. Kyle Tucker has to be huge. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. And it was really interesting to hear Tucker talk about this Cubs team. He was interviewed by the media. He was talking about getting work and stretching out his arm and wanting to be comfortable and, to be able to play 162 games. But he also said that he feels like the Cubs team this year is a good group, that it's guys that love the game, love talking the game, practicing, wanting to get better, and fun to be around. And when you have a veteran club like the Cubs do this year, you get guys that are in their late 30s. Some of those guys on the pitching staff been around a lot. Tucker, who's won a World Series, and you find that, and that's what you hope. You hope that these guys can't get enough of playing, can't get enough of each other, and really strive to try to be maybe the big surprise in the National League. I mean, they're starting out against the Dodgers, and let's face it. I mean, the Dodgers are defending champs. They're stacked, so to beat them, you're going to have to play pretty good baseball. So the reason I wanted to talk about Kyle Tucker, though, is the Cubs traded him for him from the Astros. He's a free agent at the end of the year, and if the Cubs don't sign him, they're going to get nothing out of this trade. That included Isaac Paredes, who's an all-star third baseman, and it included Cam Smith, who now becomes the Astros' #1 prospect. And for the Cubs, you watch Cam Smith, who's hit a couple home runs in spring training. He's a big guy. The ball jumps off of his bat. And you just wonder when you make a trade like this, what it's going to look like down the road. And, I know Cubs fans are going, the worst trade in Cubs history, obviously, was Lou Brock to the Cardinals. And I don't know that this one's going to be anywhere near that. You can argue about other deals that are made. And you can also talk about you build a farm system to make trades, right? To make your team better. And I know some of you guys will be like, Mick, you're in love with all the prospects. Not necessarily. I didn't know, and I still don't know what Cam Smith's going to turn out. I didn't have a total read on him, but watching him hit a couple of bombs for the Astros, and the fact that he's their #1 prospect, and then the fact that Kyle Tucker is only going to be here for 1 year, for this trade to turn out for the Cubs, Tucker has to have a good year. That just, it starts there. And then, you hope that maybe they'll put the money down that it's going to take to sign him long term. I think they'll be a player if he has a good season and he proves he can hit at Wrigley. But there's no argument that Kyle Tucker's known as one of the best players in baseball. But it's when I'm watching Cam Smith and I'm going, man, that's a lot to give up when you're talking about an all-star third baseman, and then a guy who in his career already, Cam Smith, is coming out of Florida State last year. I mean, you're trading your first round pick from last year, and the guy's actually put up some pretty good numbers already. And then watching him hit those home runs. I mean, last year, 32 games as a pro, he hit 313, had a 396 on base percentage, 7 home runs, 24 runs batted in. And then, obviously he helped Florida State get to the College World Series, right? So we'll see what happens defensively. You know, he's pretty decent at third for where his age is. Still has a lot of work to do, but just something to keep an eye on. And obviously, I think it puts pressure on the Cubs ownership to sign Kyle Tucker, because if he has a big year and you let him go, boy, this could be one of those trades you look back at. And I mean, great example. Does anyone remember Reggie Jackson playing for the Baltimore Orioles? Like, I think it's like a one and done. You know that you remember. People remember him as an A. People remember him as a Yankee. People even remember him as an Angel. But no one even remembers he played in Baltimore. So you go somewhere for 1 year, and unless you have just a remarkable season, people forget. So, but Cam Smith could be the franchise for the Astros here in a couple years. Cubs 6-0-1 in Cactus League action. They got their first tie in Scottsdale yesterday against the Giants. I love Scottsdale Stadium. Always one of the draws of going to spring training. If you guys go out to spring training, it's a fun place to play. It's in Old Town Scottsdale, and man, it's just the little city down there that's around the baseball stadium. It's so much fun, and when the Cubs come, it's packed. And the Giants and the Cubs kind of are the two big draws out in spring training. But a 4-4 tie for the Cubs, so now they're 6-0-1, so still undefeated going into today's game, and the Cubs will play the Angels at Sloan Park today at 2:05 Central Time. So getting closer and closer. Only 2 more days left in the month of March. I mean, the month of February, and then all of a sudden you start to look at March 18th and 19th in Japan, when the Cubs and the Dodgers get ready to go, and that kind of gives me the transition here to Shota Imanaga. Shota working on some adjustments. He said he wasn't totally happy with his first outing, but what's interesting, though, he hopes to pitch 80, at least have 80 pitches in his outing. So kind of reminded me, like, going out there, and baseball's this way anyhow, but it's really going to be magnified that the bullpens are going to be so important for these first few games. And I'm sure the Dodgers will be about the same as the Cubs, where your starting pitchers just aren't going to be stretched out enough where you're going to say, hey, this guy's going out, he's going to throw 100 pitches or 110 pitches. So Shota Imanaga on opening day against Yamamoto, both guys are probably going to be about 80 pitches. And then Sasaki against Justin Steele in game 2, and I'm probably thinking about the same there, 80 pitches for both guys. So the bullpens better be ready. And so far this year, I mean, we haven't really had that many games, but the guys that the Cubs have brought in have stayed healthy through one outing, and that's a good thing with this bullpen. Get those guys out there, the Ryan Presley's. Let's see what he's got, but getting stretched out. Some years you get into spring training and guys start dropping, and then all of a sudden it's going to be one of those years where no one's healthy, and it seems like with teams, when one guy gets hurt, another guy gets hurt. I don't know why it's like that. It just seems like there's years like that, and but then there's years where everybody stays healthy, like 2016, and Schwarber got hurt, kind of a freak accident, but the rest of the guys stayed healthy, and the Cubs won the World Series. So that's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, great to see all of you guys today. We'll talk some more baseball tomorrow. I love your comments, by the way. And thank you guys. Love you guys. We're closing in, like I said, on 6,500 subscribers. So every day we talk baseball. Wanted to do just pop on this live show, just see how things are going, and tell you guys again, thank you for being here. And look at this, Roger. He's watching in Venezuela. Hey, man, good to see you, and thank you, Roger Molina. Love Venezuela. Great people in Venezuela. Bernie, good to see you too. All you guys. Look. This, Jeff, the reason I brought up the Cam Smith deal, at least they got something out of it. I get that, instead of Canario, who they basically just threw it away. But I'll tell you what, man, you make these deals, you start throwing these guys in your future, and you look back sometimes and you're like, okay, yeah, that wasn't a good idea. All right, like, subscribe, thumbs up. We're closing in on opening day. We still got some time to go. But look, if anything breaks, we'll be here. Thank you. Go Cubs.